Good day everyone, I'm Abdullah. In this video, you will learn about 9 important economic theories. By the end, you'll understand how the economy works, why price change, and how people and countries make decisions. Before anything else, it's important to understand the first topic, which is first is environmental economics, sustainable development. Sustainable development focuses on balancing economic growth, fairness in society, and protecting the environment. It looks at how today's economic actions affects natural resources and the planet in the long run. Sustainable development means growing the economy without harming the nature and making sure that future generations still have clean air, clean water, food, trees, and natural resources. It's about improving our lives while keeping the environment safe for the next generation. We should use our natural resources wisely so they don't run out. It also reminds us that small action can help protect our planet. For example, planting trees after cutting them down using solar energy instead of fuel, or bringing your own eco bag to the grocery stores are simple ways to protect nature while still supporting the economy. We also see this in barangay cleanup drives, recycling programs in school, or when malls encourage people to use reusable cups and straws. Even in Denmark, they use wind turbines to produce clean electricity. They now get more than 50% of their energy from wind. This is very eco-friendly and sustainable. This idea means people make decisions by thinking about what they will gain or lose before doing something. We think, is it worth it? It also explains how price change depending on how many people want something and how much is available. For example, when you shop online, you ask yourself, should I add one more item to my cart? If the extra benefit is worth the extra cost, you buy it. If not, you skip it. Another example, if you want to buy another cup of milk tea, you'll think first, do I really want it or am I just spending a money? If the joy is worth the cost, you'll buy it. That's the marginal thinking. Next is neoclassical economics. Marginalism. Marginalism explains that the people make choice by comparing extra benefits and costs of a small change. Supply and demand are key to this theory. Next, we have game theory, Nash equilibrium. Nash equilibrium studies decision making when people interact. Nash equilibrium happens when no one can do better by changing their choice alone if other keeps the same. Game theory studies how people or groups make decisions when their choice depends on what others do. A Nash equilibrium happens when everyone has already chose the best possible strategy for themselves, considering what others are doing, and no one can improve their outcomes by changing their choice alone. For example, imagine you and your friend want to choose a coloring tool. You pick a crayon and your friend pick a marker. Now, both of you are happy and don't want to switch. A Nash equilibrium is when everyone picks something, everyone is okay with their choice. No one wants to change their minds. It's like saying, we're good here, let's stay like this. The Nash equilibrium, developed by John Nash, is a concept in game theory. It describes a situation where each player chooses the best strategy they can, while considering what others are doing, and no one can improve their outcomes by changing their choice alone. This concept is used internationally to understand stable decision in economics, politics, and global cooperation. Another example, let us say we have two stores in the same street. They both lower their price to attract customers. In the end, they both find the price that keeps them earning enough. Neither want to change it again because it's already fair for the both sides. Next is institutionalism. Historical institutionalism focuses on how institution shapes economies. Historical institutionalism looks at how the past and existing structures affects economic system today. This means the way our economy works today is affected by our past. The rules, systems, and tradition we follow now come from history. What happened before still influence how we live and make decisions. For example, here in the Philippines, we still use English in school and business because of our American influence. Our way of trading, government, and education were shaped by the history of colonization. Next, we will explore development economics. This theory explains how countries grow step by step from a single economy to a modern developed one. It starts with traditional farming, moves through industrialization with factories, advanced technology and service. And finally, it reaches a stage where people enjoy higher standards of living. Each stage builds on the previous one. For example, here in the Philippines, in the past, most Filipinos work on farms. And now more people work in office, malls, and call center. We see progress in infrastructure, schools, technology, and online businesses. Small towns turning into cities or province getting malls show the country's gradual development or high mass consumption stage. This illustrates how the Philippines is slowly moving through the stage of economic growth toward becoming more developed.
In roster theory, we have five stages. The first stage is traditional society. Most people farm, technology is very basic, and life doesn't change much. People produce mainly what they need, and trade is limited. For example, rural village in some part of Africa or Asia today still rely mostly on substance farming. The second stage is the preconditions for takeoff. This is when societies start getting ready for growth. They build roads, schools, ports, and improve farming, and start trading more. Entrepreneurs begin businesses, and people save and invest. The third stage is takeoff. Here, certain industries start growing very fast. Production increase and new technologies are used. The economy shifts from mostly farming to manufacturing. Britain during the Industrial Revolution is a perfect example, with textile and local industries growing rapidly. The fourth stage is the drive to maturity. Growth spread to many industries, technology improves, and the economy becomes more advanced. People become more skilled and education improves. The United States in the early of 20th century fits in this stage, as it developed diverse industries like steel, automobiles, and chemicals. The fifth and final stage is the age of high mass consumption. People earn more money, can buy many goods and services, and enjoy better living standards. The economy focuses on consumer good and comfort. Modern countries like Japan, Germany, or the United States today show this stage with buying cars, electronics, and enjoying leisure activities.
Develop. And the next one is monetarism, quantity theory of money. This theory explains how amount of money in the economy affects price. If there is too much money, the price will go up or inflation. If there is too little, the price will go down or deflation. That's why the government needs to manage the money supply carefully.
Monetarism, developed by economists like Milton Friedman, focuses on the role of money supply in controlling inflation and economic stability. The quantity theory of money, a key idea in monetarism, says that change in money supply causes proportional change in price in the long run.
For example, here in the Philippines, during the pandemic, the government gave financial help to people. Since more people had money to spend, price of foods, goods increased. This is inflation. We also see this during Christmas when people receive bonuses, price of gifts and foods often rise. After holidays, when spending slows down, price tends to go down again. Even in local markets, sellers sometimes raise price slightly when they know customers have more cash. Another example in Argentina, the government printed large amount of money in recent years because the money supply grew faster than the goods available. Price increased rapidly, causing very high inflation. So these two examples show how change in money supply directly affects price, which is exactly what quantity theory of money explains. Okay, next is institutional economics. Transaction cost economics explain how cost of making exchange influence decisions. People and businesses try to reduce this cost when choosing between markets or organizing internally. This theory explains that people and businesses try to save time, money, and often when making transaction or producing goods, they choose the easiest and most coefficient way to do business, which increase profit and efficiency.
New institutional economics developed by Ronald and Oliver Williamson studies transaction cost, the cost of making economic exchange. It explains that people and organizations try to minimize this cost when deciding between using the market or organizing activities internally.
For example, a company handles its own deliveries instead of hiring another service to reduce expenses. Even online sellers use apps like Gcash or Shopee Pay for faster and cheaper payments. Even in the United States, many small businesses use Amazon FBA or Fulfillment by Amazon to store and ship products. So this reduces transaction costs for shortage and delivery, allowing them to focus on sales. So this example shows how reducing transaction costs help people and businesses work more efficiently. Okay, now moving on to post-Keynesian economics. Demand-led growth. Emphasize that economic growth comes from strong demand. Government can help growth by boosting spending and consumption. This means the economy grows when people buy more things. When there's strong demand, businesses earn more, hire workers, and the economy becomes active. The government can also help by spending money on projects that create jobs. For example, when people buy more clothes or gadgets, stores hire more employees. When the government builds roads, many workers get jobs and they spend their salary, which helps other businesses. We can also see this during events like fiesta, concerts, or mall sales. People spend a lot, and it helps local stores like vendors or transportation drivers earn more. Even online shopping increase demand and help delivery service grow. Another example, in Japan, during the Golden Week holidays, people spend more on travel, shopping, and dining. This boosts businesses actively, encourage companies to hire temporary workers, and help the tourism and retail sector earn more. As we reach the end of this report, the last topic we will cover is behavioral economics. Prospect theory studies how psychology affects economic choice. People react differently to gain and losses, and the way opinions are presented change decisions. This theory explains that people don't always make logical decisions. Instead, they are guided by fear, emotion, and how choices are presented. People tend to fear losing more than they enjoy winning, which affects their decisions. So,
Behavioral economics studies how psychological factors affect economic decisions. Prospect theory by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky explain how people make decisions under certainty and how the way options are presented can influence their decisions.
for example, many Filipino choose cash on delivery instead of online payment, even if discounts are bigger, because they fear getting scammed and trust holding real cash more than digital payments. Another example, in the United States, some people avoid investing in stocks because they are scared of losing money, even if there's a good enhance to earn. Others buy items on sale or follow trends because everyone else has it. In Japan, many consumers avoid trying new tech gadgets immediately because they fear defects or failure, even if reviewers are positives. Thank you for watching my report. I hope this presentation helped you understand the topic more clearly. If you have any question or clarification, feel free to ask. Once again, this is Abdullah Ermina K. And that's conclude my report. Have a great day.